Coach is under fire from some quarters. Some quarters are still backing him. And there was an audio clip from the cricketer, and it started off, and it's quite nice. You know, like when you say, with all due respect, and you can kind of go, well, I'll go and say whatever I want now. It starts off with, I've got a lot of respect for Brendan McCullum, and he does have huge charisma. So it's kind of like, we'll get the positive in first, and then we'll go on and say some things afterwards. I don't think he's a good coach at all. I think he's an absolute myth of a man. What does he do? That was like the opening kind of salvo of this clip. And again, similar to the boycott article about Jimmy Anderson, there is logic behind it. Like, you can't just throw those kind of things around without actually kind of backing these points up. And he is a young coach. He's an inexperienced coach. We have heard a lot of like on the bus type kind of mentality here and that whole kind of positive mindset. But the question I wanted to ask you is, as a professional cricketer, what do you want as a coach? And I understand there's levels to this as well. You're not at that England level yet, but what do you want? Like, as a professional cricketer, you say, here's your coach, make whatever coach you want. What are you after?
Well, I think one thing that Brendan McCullum does actually possess is that instilling that kind of unbreakable belief in his players. I think that is actually really important, because if you've got anyone in the changing room that, like, as a professional, you doubt yourself at numerous times, whether it be in training, whether it be in the changing room before you go out for a match, there will be times in your career when you doubt your ability to go out and perform for your team. Now, if some of that potential inner burden can be lifted by knowing that your coach is backing you to the hilt and has picked you in the team because they believe that you're good enough and they are persistent with that messaging, you will start believing that and quietening that kind of self-doubt, which in a sport like cricket, nailing that mentality and those, like, getting your mindset in a really good place is like so beneficial. Because if you go out there onto the cricket pitch and you have, oh, do you know what? Oh, what about if I get hit for 6? Or do you know what? How am I going to score my runs today? Or my feet aren't moving. Blah, blah, blah. There's all these little thoughts that can creep into your head. Now, the more of those that exist when you're out performing, there is no doubt you are less likely to be able to perform. So I think the mindset side of it is really important, and something that I personally would value in a coach possessing a lot of that skill. So for me, Brendan McCullum is brilliant in that sense, what we can tell on the outside, right? I think then it's a case of buying everyone into a bit of a philosophy and, I guess, strategy in how you're going to go about playing your cricket and winning your games. And if you deliver on that strategy and you can adapt in the moment or whatever in different situations and you get success, you are going to think, okay, brilliant, we know how we're going to win now. We're going to try and rinse and repeat this as often as possible, which is what this England team have done, don't get me wrong. But I think it's just that adaptability, like being a smart cricketer, like, and getting as many people within the team and the squad bought into that, I think is really important. And I guess that's the bit of question mark. I think in terms of actual coaching and specialist knowledge, I don't actually feel like that is as important for a head coach, because you've got your batting coach, your bowling coach, your fielding lead, or whatever to deliver on those aspects for you. So yeah, I think saying that he's not a very good coach is a bit circumspect. But everyone's entitled to their opinion, aren't they?
Yeah, of course. Like I would look at a cricketer of my level and kind of think I would need technical help. I would need a head coach to talk to me about what I'm doing wrong, if that ultimately, and how to fix those problems. And I don't necessarily know whether that's all right, mate. Just smile and smoke it out the ground. I don't necessarily know whether that's the bit that kind of is the you go, oh yeah, no, that'll work for me. Um, However, looking at you girls and the guys, I look at you've done that. You've got your technical side of it. There will definitely be moments that you'll want to talk to people and just go, oh, could I change? We spoke about it over the winter, didn't we? Like you had a little play around with triggers and things, but it's not kind of the real basic fundamental side of cricket, which a lot of us amateurs would need. You almost do want that kind of hype man, that person to kind of go, yeah, you're bloody good at what you do. And I think England are doing the absolute best, particularly with their batters, that they can possibly do with them. I think Duckett is fantastic on the sweep, and he's clearly being encouraged to play it. Crawley, fantastically aggressive batter, and he's getting on with it, and he's doing exactly that, and that's what he's being encouraged to do so. Bairstow, in a similar way, ridiculously attacking cricketer, gets on with it. Brooke, the same kind of thing. They haven't gone to Ben Folkes and said, "Come on, mate, get on with it." It's removing that fear of failure, isn't it? So Ben Folkes can go out there, bat how Ben Folkes want to, without the fear of snicking off at 18 or something, and then coming into a dressing room where people are going to go, huh, should have picked Bairstow with a glove, shouldn't we? And I think they're doing the best with what they have available. I think it's quite one-dimensional, but I don't necessarily think they're the type of players to then go, oh, come on, lads, let's dig in for 4.5 sessions and save a test match, because I don't think they've got the ability to do so. I haven't watched a huge amount of county cricket, but all of what I watched last year, I never really got the impression there were batters in the Division 1 of the county championship that I thought, oh, you know what, they could bat for a day. They did, a few of them did. Like I saw James Vince score a double hundred. But the first 50, I mean, he played and missed it. Must have been about 25 balls that went past the outside edge. Nick Gubbins was probably the only guy that I saw score like almost a chanceless 100 at Wantage Road. But again, there's probably a reason why he averages what he does in first-class cricket and hasn't made that step forwards. These cricketers, I don't think they exist anymore. They don't. These guys that kind of want to strike at like 35 for 2 days, they don't exist. The game's moved on. It's changed.
Yeah, 100%. That's what I was going to say. The game's moved forward, hasn't it? And with that, the players that are involved in the game at that time have to move forward with it. Otherwise, they get left behind. They're not a professional cricketer anymore, and they're on to pastures new. So it's it's funny, isn't it? Seeing people's viewpoints and their critique from how they in their idyllic world, how they would want things to go. Gives us things to talk about, hey?